YouTube spinning its wheels. Oh, wow, actually went live. So we're live on YouTube. And we're live on TV.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the March 25th Litchfield Budget Committee meeting. This starts our new session for the upcoming year. I will call the meeting to order. It's now 7 o'clock, and we will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America,
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Before getting into it today, I have an agenda item to obviously welcome our new members, Mr. Barca, Mrs. Stevens. Thank you so much for running and joining the committee. It's a pleasure to have you here. And welcome back again to Mr. Barca. Right, we appreciate that. Nice to see you again. Also want to take a moment and thank again Mr. Hodgkins and past committee members for their participation on this committee. And away we go with our new season. With that, though, we're starting our season on a mixed emotions note, as I called it in the Litchfield Mirror paper. We did receive a resignation notice from Ms. Forty. And what we wanted to do was give Ms. Forty the opportunity to formally resign this evening. And therefore, Ms. Forty, you're with us tonight. Please take it away.
Thank you, Chairman Cutter. Hello, everybody. Definitely was a bit unexpected, but my life has taken a turn, and I'll be shortly, within the month, moving to Phoenix, Arizona, quite far. So I just wanted to thank everyone for really, I'm still nobody, but I was nobody, a 3 years ago, and I decided to throw my hat in the ring and take a chance. And it's just been a great experience to get to know the town, to get to know so many wonderful folks. And I really just appreciate the opportunity. And, when I put my name in to run again in January, I really did expect to be here. But, sometimes opportunities come up and you've got to take them when they happen. So I just really wanted to take the time to thank everyone. And I know that the committee will follow our wonderful bylaws and get the seat filled, and you guys will be on your way. And you might have a weird login from Phoenix, Arizona, watching your YouTube videos. So.
All right, Ms. Forty. Well, thank you very much again for your role serving on this committee, as well as various other committees, and obviously in your capacity as vice chair last year. Just, public thank you once more, and best of luck in your transition over to warmer Phoenix. All right. Excellent.
Thank you, Nikki. Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Nikki.
Best wishes.
Thank you, Nikki.
Next
Great job.
on our agenda is starting off the season with the election of chair and vice chair. So has anyone given any thought to election of chair and any nominations?
Nomination of Andrew Cutter for chair.
Second. We have a nomination and a second. That was really fast, like record time. Is there any discussion?
I appreciate the hard work and the dedication that you've shown, the commitment to the process and following the way that we've set things. There's been a lot of decisions made throughout the years, and your commitment to following the process, which is huge in this committee. You've worked well. I mean, we've had, it's a budget. We're going to have some heated moments occasionally, but I think all in all, we ended up with good conversation, good relationships that came out of that, because it's not personal. So I think you did a great job, and I would like to see you continue leading this committee another year.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate those words. Thank you.
I would echo those comments, like 100%. I think you've done a fantastic job.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that.
Mhm.
Any other nominations for chair by those in WebEx or Ms. Stevens? Any?
I echo what Kara said.
I'm sorry?
I would echo what Kara
Thank
said.
you.
Yep.
Hearing no other nominations, we'll do a roll call vote given the participation through WebEx tonight. Mr. Sun, I see you first.
Yes.
Ms. Harrison.
Raise your hand.
Thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yes, for me. Thank you. Sorry.
Mr. Hayes.
A definite yes.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Mr. Leary,
Absolutely.
Mr. Barca.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Stevens,
Yes.
and I am a yes. That passes 800. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you for your willingness to take the role. It's not fun. So, but it is fun,
I
but
think
it's a
I've
lot
lost
of
some
work.
hair along the way, but
You wear it well. So, there you go.
next up is a nomination for vice chair, please.
I would like to nominate Carrie Douglas for vice chair.
Second.
We have a nomination for Ms. Douglas for vice chair by Mr. Hayes and a second by Mr. Barca.
Thank you.
Discussion.
I think it's a great choice.
Well, the reason why I'm nominating Carrie Douglas is because from my vantage point, she's done a great job. She has lots of experience. She's very candid. And I believe she has the support of the budget committee in the past. She's had the chair position. I know that when she worked, alongside you, Andrew,
Yes.
you were a great team. So that's why I'm nominating her as vice chair.
Thank you. Thank you for the kind words.
Fantastic. Further
Well
discussion.
deserved.
I think it's a great choice.
Other nominations? I'll nominate Mr. Sun for vice chair. Is there a second?
I'll second it for discussion.
Okay, I heard Mr. Leary for that one. My view is, Mr. Sun, you've also done a fantastic job in the past year. You've been, a very logical person on this committee, taking into consideration both sides of the coin and coming up to a very evaluated and strategic decision and showing rationale behind your thought process. And I think as a vice chair, that would be instrumental in serving in the role. That's why I nominated you, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, any other discussion there? So we have a motion and then a second motion,
Mhm.
right? So we'll vote to approve the second motion before, we'll vote to accept the second nomination, right? Is that how the process works? And then we'll vote again for the
I
first
never really did.
Well, you
regular
already have
Robert's
two
rules.
nominations.
Correct.
So you'll say all those in favor of Carrie, all those in favor of John.
Okay,
And it's a regular vote.
do we do the amended motion first, do the second motion first, and then it falls back
You
to the
don't have an
first?
amended motion. You just have two nominations.
Two nominations, okay.
I think you do them in order that came in.
Got it.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay, so with that, we have two nominations. We'll go with Ms. Douglas first per the discussion in the room. All right. We'll do a roll call vote, please, and we'll start with Mr. Sun.
Nay.
Okay. Ms. Harrison.
Nah.
Let's see. Mr. Hayes.
I am for Carrie.
4, yes. Mr. Leary.
Aye.
Aye. Mr. Barca.
Yes.
Ms. Stevens.
Nah.
Ms. Douglas.
Is it appropriate for me to vote, or should I?
Yes, you can vote.
Then yes.
Okay. And I am a no because I nominated Mr. Sun. So that fails 4-4. Okay. Now we'll move on to Mr. Sun, and we'll do a roll call vote, please. Mr. Sun.
Yes.
Ms. Harrison.
Yes.
Mr. Hayes.
No, sorry.
Okay. Mr. Leary. Mr. Barca.
Yes.
Ms. Stevens.
Yes.
Ms. Douglas.
No.
And I am a yes. So that passes 5-3-0. Okay. Excellent. Welcome, Mr. Sun.
Thank you.
Next up, member assignments. So these are the member assignments to various committees and subcommittees that typically have been participation from the budget committee. First up is social media archivist. And for the benefit of our new members, last year we had a debate about adding this position to our bylaws, and given our involvement over the past 2 years about public notice on Facebook, through List Your WhatsApp, and various town mechanisms. This is working in conjunction with our IT manager, Mr. Burnell, to post out meeting summaries and notices just for full transparency to the public. Really, it's meant to be quick hit, basic updates to the committee, or basic updates to the community, excuse me. And yeah, so any interest in social media archivist? I know Mr. Sun played this role last year.
Trying to avoid social media, it just makes me mad.
I try to avoid Facebook.
I do avoid it. I do avoid it. I'm not on
I
any of
don't
it.
mind doing it as much as I don't have personal profiles. Communication is important to
Absolutely.
the public, so I wouldn't
Alright.
mind taking that on.
Okay,
If
Ms.
there's no one
Stevens.
else that wants to do it.
John talking?
If Ms. Stevens is interested, I'm glad to kind of walk her through how I did it last year and working with Mr. Brunel, fairly straightforward process. And I kind of kept running notes during the meeting and then summarize it at the end and then post it on the town website. It was a fairly low lift, but Mr. Brunel was great support when things didn't function fully.
Fantastic. So, Ms. Stevens, don't mind taking that position?
I'll start taking notes.
All right. Ms. Stevens, thank you very much. All right, now we have the Budget Committee rep to School Board Capital Planning Committee. And this is the role that Ms. Forty held. And we will need to have a new person fill it. Oh, we have Ms. Michelle, go ahead.
Can I just make a quick clarification? That's no longer known as the Capital Planning Committee. It's known as the Facilities Improvement Committee.
Okay. The Schools Facility Improvement Committee.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I do have an interest in serving on that if no one else does.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Sun. Anybody else have interest? All right, Mr. Sun, thank you very much. Appreciate that. And the Budget Committee rep to this town and the Board of Selectmen Capital Planning and Improvement Committee. And that was a role formerly held by myself, where we put together the initial CIPC plan. Anybody have interest taking that one this year? I can take it again if there's,
I think you did a good job last year.
okay. I will take that role again. Is there any challenge to that on WebEx? Nope. Okay, excellent. All right, next up, we'll move into public input. I know Chief Sergeant, you're with us tonight. Any input for the committee this evening? Hearing none.
Is he muted?
There's another round of public input at the end. Next up is review and additions to tonight's agenda. Anybody have any changes or anything that they'd like to add to tonight's agenda? Seeing none. Next up is the review and acceptance of.
Chairman?
Yes.
Classic, I was on mute talking, I apologize.
Oh.
Mhm.
Please go ahead, Mr. Sergeant, Chief Sergeant.
I apologize, I hit the speaker button. Tonight I just wanted to listen in, and I just wanted to take the time to thank all of the members of the Budget Committee for their continued support of the town, the department heads, and I just look forward to working with you folks for this year and hopefully many more to come. So thank you all for your service.
Thank you, Chief. We appreciate you joining. All right, next up is our minutes from January 7th and January 14th as amended. Ms. Forty did circulate some amendments to those minutes.
I make
Seems like
a
a couple of
motion.
months ago.
I make a motion to approve the January 7th, or is it 10th?
7th and 14th.
I'll
Well, we'll
second
do them
that.
one at a time because I don't know who attended which one.
Sure.
7th as amended. I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion by Ms. Douglas and a second by Mr. Hayes. Discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Mr. Sun,
Yes.
let's see, Ms. Harrison?
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry, I abstained.
Yeah, you should abstain, okay?
Yeah.
Let's see, Mr. Hayes,
Yes,
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Mr. Barca,
Abstain.
Ms. Stevens,
Abstain.
Ms. Douglas?
Yes,
I am also a yes. That passes 5-3-0.
503.
503, excuse me. I wrote it down wrong. January 14th.
Make a motion to approve the minutes of January 14th as amended.
Motion by Ms. Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Mr.
Second.
Leary. Discussion? All right, moving to vote. Mr. Sun,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison.
Abstain.
Abstain, thank you. Mr. Hayes,
yes,
Mr. Leary,
Yes.
Mr. Barca,
Abstain.
Ms. Stevens,
Abstain.
Ms. Douglas?
Yes,
I am yes. That passes 5-0-3. All right, we're getting there. All right, excellent. Next up is election results, both the town and the school. And this is just an open area for the committee to debate or acknowledge any of the results that were given in March. Any thoughts to how the voting went this year? No?
I don't think there are any, no major surprises.
I think the one surprise for me was the second IT tech integrator position for the school, given how much I know they had pressed for that. But given the vote of the committee, that was a surprise, but not a surprise.
Well, I mean, the reality is the first one passed by 13 votes.
I think that was
Absolutely.
more of a surprise.
So I think that's a little bit of a surprise. You pushed it
That was
hard
as
and it
surprising,
squeaked
yeah.
by.
But the funds towards new, like looking at engineering and building passed very strongly. Is that right?
Yes.
If I remember right. So
Yes, I think there is we tend to talk that one interchangeably as rebuilding and maintenance. So I'm not sure what people actually voted for. Because then some of the discussions was it was money used for failing equipment. So people are going to support that. Whether they support the other half, I don't know, because we've never actually separated the question.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I was just wondering if it was like maybe people were looking forward to working towards a new school, but in the meantime, everything else has to be buckled down.
Yeah, I don't know.
But I'm probably reading too much into it.
I would love to see the questions separated so we can actually answer that once and for all, but I keep getting shot down.
More to come, I guess, this March on the school front, right?
I guess
See what
so.
happens. Yeah, absolutely. All right. Anything else on the election results? Nope. All right. Moving into town business. I'll turn it over to Mr. Leary for an update, please.
There's really not a lot going on with the town. We're just kind of getting things going for the yearly cycle of what we do every year. So there's not a whole lot until budget starts. We're kind of in a sailing smooth mode right now.
I'm sure the plow truck has been put on order and
Actually, the plow truck is on order. Yep.
fantastic.
We're going to get it in earlier than expected, I believe. They're hoping July.
Excellent.
Yep.
Excellent.
Hopefully that means no snow next year.
Hey, if it means no snow, I'm okay with it.
I saw an agenda item, Mr. Leary, for I think it was the highway department or the recycling center roof. Is there an issue with that facility?
Yeah, the roof has been failing there for years, and they put out bids to get a new roof put on it.
Okay.
And the bid was accepted by iRoof, I believe it is, which Mr. Marchand lives in town,
Yep.
so he's a local guy. And I think everybody was local that bid on it.
Wonderful.
So.
Excellent.
Mhm.
All right. Any comments or questions on the expense reports? So for our new members, I know probably not so new for Mr. Barca, but every week the town will send out an expense report, just giving the budget committee a view into the weekly expenses. It's nice to take a scan over those and just making sure if there are any questions, we're addressing them during the committee meetings. Any questions on the expense reports that were circulated? No? All right, we'll turn it over to Ms. Harrison for an update, please.
Sorry, I'm working with 2 computers and 2 mice and all kinds of things. I'm so sorry for the delays. So from the school board, we welcome new member Heidi Ames, and Liz McDonald was reelected to the board. I was selected as chair, and Brian Bork will be serving as vice chair for this next year. We went over and the board approved a 5-year construction plan. Sorry, my dog's breaking in. 5-year construction plan for all through a district-wide plan. So we're currently continuing work on the ventilation systems at all 3 schools. Michelle, would you send a copy of that to the chair to distribute to the board members, the committee members? Thank you. And it just kind of outlines our the next few years and what we hope to accomplish each year, working towards the end goal of the new elementary school being on the ballot in 2023.
Great. Yep.
The board also approved we agreed to sign a contract with a general contractor for a general manager, I'm sorry, for the LMS energy efficiency project. So for the new members, as we have been addressing the ventilation and airflow issues due to COVID, we have uncovered a lot of energy deficiencies. Basically, oil, 4 times the amount of a typical New Hampshire middle school. So we are engaging a general contractor to oversee continued ventilation upgrades and then address mechanical issues that we're having with the HVAC system and efficiency issues. We're, I think as part of end of year funds, we're looking at replacing LMS's roof and the windows to be more energy efficient. Right now, we have funds available in the form of the grants that we have received, the infrastructure grants that we've received, impact fees, and we are working with Windy Hill Associates. They've completed an energy audit on the building, and they will continue to oversee projects with the general contractors. So the hope is that we'll be able to use existing funding and grant funds to button up LMS and get it set to be kind of maintenance only, no major repairs required for the next 30 to 40 years. And so we've moved ahead with that plan. I'm sorry for the delay in the monthly budget report, but I saw Andrew sent that out earlier this afternoon. So if you have any questions, I'm happy to relay them to the VA.
Thanks, Ms. Harrison. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you haven't checked your email, there's a BA report in there. We received it about an hour before the meeting, and I circulated that to the committee. I know Ms. Flynn indicated that she'll be sending us an updated expense report across the budget for the school tomorrow. So we look forward to receiving that, and I'll circulate that to the committee as well once received. Okay. Any questions for the school?
I actually do have a question for you, Christina. And a lot of this is, I'll be honest, I've been blissfully ignorant for the last 2 years and not paying attention. I noticed in the consideration for year-end funding, you have Chromebooks for first graders. Do first graders have Chromebooks today?
They'll have some. I believe that we have. I'm not sure that they have one-to-one. I think that we have a few classroom sets. I think we're looking at sets that would stay in school for all students to use. And we have had extras that we've sent home with kids who need them when we've had to pivot to remote learning. But as far as I know, be sure to ask Jason if we're fully, I don't believe we're fully one-to-one below.
Yeah, Mr. Barca, my daughter's in 2nd grade and I know she doesn't have one.
Okay, I didn't think it went quite that far down. I guess that's what I was curious about. Okay.
But I think the idea of the district is to have one-to-one.
All the way down to first grade.
Yes. Is that true, Ms. Harrison?
I believe so. I think for first and second, it will be more of like a classroom set that will be housed in the classroom. We won't be sending it back to first graders because as we've done remote learning and we've gone online for a lot of our programming, we're finding that there are not enough to share basically down at those grade levels.
Okay. And the ones for freshmen and 5th graders, are those already in the budget for next year and you're just looking to spend ahead, or are these?
Spend ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, they were removed from the budget and put on your spending for this.
Okay. That's all I had. Thanks.
Any other questions for the school this evening?
Ms. Harrison, I know I asked this question a few times last year. Does the district or the school board have an idea of appropriations for the next round of stimulus funds and what that looks like for our district?
I believe I did write this down at our last meeting. I believe we're looking to get. I think we estimated up the number 230,000 steps that sticks out in my mind. The problem is that the rules for spending these funds have not been issued yet. We're still waiting directions from the states. We have not yet received. And we are having, we don't know how able to allocate them according to the rules because it is grant funding. So we're still waiting to hear on that. I believe there's another with this last COVID relief package, but I don't know at this point of how much that would be.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for the school this evening? All right, hearing none, we'll move into member input, new business. At this time of the year, we like to always kind of set forth the budget calendar in which I will work over the next month to give the committee a draft of in time for April. And really what that calendar will be is a blueprint for the upcoming year, the expected or anticipated meeting dates and times. One thing I'd like to talk as a committee about this evening I know last year, because of some committee member requests, I'm not pointing at you specifically. But
If it's the not Tuesdays or not 6:30s, I will
Right.
own those.
So in our bylaws, it now says we're not going to meet past 9:30, right? So that's a hard stop. But to accommodate that, we did agree on non-voting evenings that we would begin our sessions at 6:30 instead of 7. Because as we get into the budget process, and this is really most applicable for the budget season, right? As we get into that process, those meetings can take some time, and we wanted to make sure we give everyone the chance to speak, everyone to be heard, and 3 hours is probably a little bit more sufficient for that. But it's the will of the committee. If some committee members have hard obligations and 7 o'clock is the time, then we'll proceed with 7 o'clock. But we may need a meeting or two, perhaps on a Tuesday, to supplement that schedule.
I'll just
Which will be
say,
true anyways. So.
I'll just say it's a standing joke that, wow, I'm here 5 minutes early. So I am going to say that I really would rather not do 6:30.
Okay. All right. Any other committee member thoughts?
Do we know if we're going to continue with the remote possibility? Like, is it always going to be hybrid for the next season, or are we going to close that down after a certain point?
I think we need to wait and see, right? I think, come June, July, really it's in July that this committee doesn't meet, right? And then we'll meet again starting late August. I think we just need to wait and see how things play out before we can make that decision. I mean, ultimately, I'd love to have the committee members back in room, but if committee members are more comfortable remote, I'm happy to facilitate the sessions that way as well.
Doesn't help that budget season coincides with flu season, so we're going to be
Right.
So who knows which numbers we're going to be looking
Virus
at.
is on the rise and everything
Yeah,
else,
who
so I
knows?
get it.
So it might be another year or something.
So TBD.
Attendance wise, yeah, it might be easier if we have the remote option.
Yeah.
And also for me, Thursdays are definitely better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mhm.
So is the will, go ahead.
I was just going to add, I think the process, and I really had nothing to base it off of other than last year, but I think the process that we used with the school where we attended their meetings, I think that was helpful. And I know we talked about, Ms. Harrison having a lot of those materials in advance like we did with the town. And I think if we follow that model again for this year, then that can only help and enhance our communication and collaboration with the school. So I want to make sure we kind of continue with that path once we get into budget season with the school district.
Absolutely. It's my intent as well. I mean, it was my intent as well. I didn't realize until after the meeting concluded that you didn't have materials to follow along. So that's a priority for me to make sure that everybody has a book in hand or, have access to the electronic files in hand as we go through the budget. So I can commit to that.
Yeah, and just for the new members' benefit. So last year was a new year that we followed a new process as put forth by the school and the superintendent, where in order to streamline the budget review process, we collectively met in the auditorium at CHS where the budget committee listened in on the school process for debate on their budgets. There were pros and cons to that. I think, this year there's certainly a year of opportunity to improve that because we didn't have the budgets in advance as a budget committee. Therefore, we couldn't go to those sessions with any questions. So, we were pretty much left in the dark there. But, we're past that. And I know that this year we can overcome that. Ms. Douglas, I know you had some comments about it too.
I actually didn't care for that process, to be
Okay.
completely frank. I really like the opportunity to ask the questions of the people here and then come back and have listen to the presentation, think about it, look through it, and then ask the questions. I didn't feel like enough questions were asked, that it was just a very high level. Having sat through, this will be my 8th season, having sat through 6 prior to that, I did not feel that was our best outing. So I didn't care for that format.
Yeah, in my opinion, I don't know that it was the format that I didn't agree with. It was more about how it was executed, and I think there's opportunity to improve that. And I know Ms. Harrison and the school are very well aware of my thoughts on that.
Was the budget committee part of the meeting? Like you could ask questions?
Well,
or-
the idea was, yes, we could have asked questions as citizens, certainly, or as budget
Okay.
committee members, but we were definitely, not a part of the process, more of a participant in. And because we didn't have the budget in advance, we had nothing to go off of to come prepared for those meetings. Yeah, so it wasn't as effective as it likely should have been.
Right. And then after that process, you just did your regular meetings and voted.
So
on the
after that
budget themselves.
process, yeah, the committee met, and the idea was we didn't have an opportunity at that point to bring in department heads to hear from them. So we had to go based upon what we heard in that open forum session.
Yeah.
Obviously, with the superintendent and the business administrator here to field a lot of those questions.
Yeah.
But it wasn't as effective as in past years.
Yeah,
I think if
I
we're-
think too, I think there were some communication gaps regarding members' questions coming to the board chair and to the VA and the superintendent. So, I mean, I think that's another big opportunity that we can take advantage of too. Make sure those questions are addressed.
Yep, absolutely. So, let me do this, right? Let's put together a calendar for review at our next meeting, and let's debate it and what works, what doesn't work, and we'll go from there.
I mean, and another thing one of the reasons I didn't care for the format is because every year we're told that the school board really debates and narrows down and really digs into the numbers, and I didn't see that. And so when I come here and I'm like, okay, well, this number's already been vetted and really looked at thoroughly, that wasn't what I saw. So I would like to let them do their thing, vet how they feel necessary, but still have the opportunity to really dive in with these people, with the department heads. So yes, we could try to tweak and improve it, but I'm still not going to care for it. So
Yeah. I mean, the benefit of that model, though, was
it's time saver,
it's a massive time saver.
but I think something
both
got
sides.
lost in that time saving.
Yep.
I think an opportunity to improve and build upon what Ms. Douglas is saying is if we have those department heads or principals join those meetings. I think we still can attend and listen, and that allows us to hopefully be more prepared and more thorough when those people do come and join those meetings. I agree. I think there were some communication gaps because we were relaying questions back through the superintendent or the VA or the school board chair, and they had to ask certain people, and that had to come back to us. Had those people been there those evenings, we would have gotten those answers a lot quicker. So that is a way I think we could improve upon it.
So let's do this. Let me brainstorm with Ms. Harrison over the next month or so. We'll put together a plan that is beneficial for both the school, the town, and hopefully the budget committee, and then we'll review it together as a committee. Does that work?
Sure.
Mr. Hayes, any thoughts?
No, I say let's do it, try to improve it this year and see where it goes. And if it goes well, we'll do it again.
Fantastic. All right. So we have our work cut out for us on that one. Next up is bylaw reviews. I did circulate the draft bylaws that were adopted last year by the committee. They've been in the running now for 5 or 6 years. I don't recall exactly. What I'd like to do at our next meeting, if we're ready, is to review it together, right? If there are thoughts or edits or changes, let's talk about them. And then in our May meeting, we can formally adopt the bylaws as discussed with the committee. Okay. So everyone has another month to review it and to get back to me with your thoughts. And then we'll go and plan to vote in May. Mm-hmm. Does that sound like a plan?
Yes, sounds good.
It does.
Next up, as a part of member input new business, I just want to make sure we also talk about the resignation process. We do have Mr. Taylor in the room with us. For those joining WebEx or listening in, Mr. Taylor was a great member of this committee last year. He ran again to serve on the committee this year, was unsuccessful in that. However, given the resignation in our bylaw process, I extended an invitation to Mr. Taylor to rejoin the committee. What will happen is it will go out as a public notice. I will circulate or work with our town administrator tomorrow to get that public notice out in the next week or so. and then interested parties can apply essentially for the open position. The budget committee will appoint the seat. That appointment can happen at our April meeting if we're comfortable. We'll also interview the interested candidates in April. We'll vote. If not in April, then certainly in May we'll make that decision. Any questions on that process? No? All right. Anything else to add in member input, new business this evening? No? We'll move into public input once more. Mr. Taylor, anything to add tonight?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I don't know if I should give comments this evening or during the April meeting.
Might be both.
All right, that's perfectly fine. I'll make it very short and sweet.
Name and address for the minutes, please.
Scott Taylor, 6 Lilac Court. I am interested in filling the role that Ms. Forty is vacating. I have a few reasons behind that. One, first and foremost, next highest vote getter. I think folks also saw that last year when I filled in for the open slot, 100% attendance. I think if you ask a lot of the committee members, there was a lot of preparation and due diligence that I brought to the table. And the other feedback was that a lot of the people that I did interact with, even though I may or may not have agreed with them, it always came across in a very courteous and professional manner. So for those 4 reasons, I would ask for your support as far as filling that role.
Thank you again, Mr. Taylor, and more to come in April.
Mr. Chair, may I make a comment as well?
Please.
I had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Taylor, and I'm glad he's interested in rejoining the budget committee. I don't think it's any secret that, Mr. Taylor and I didn't always agree on things last season as we went line by line, but I can tell you I thoroughly appreciated his preparedness, his thoughtfulness, his questioning, and I think we need that as a part of our committee. So I'm glad to see him be a part of this process.
I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah,
I think Todd did a great job.
All right, fantastic.
I think he did a great job last year as well. Very thoughtful, very thought out. Everything he did, everything he talked about, he thoroughly researched what he was doing.
A lot of our votes were 5-4, 4-5, right? Given some of the debate held and some of the research that Mr. Taylor brought to the table, and that was great.
Andrew, Mr. Chair, if I meant to say something during member input. I'm sorry, I missed that vote. I wonder if I could bring it up now.
Please.
I just wondered, I know as a school board member and now as the board chair, I know in kind of my wheelhouse, New Hampshire School Board Association offers trainings for new members and for chairs and other things, just to kind of go over what the role of the budget committee as a member, what your role is, and what do's and what don'ts and things like that. I wondered if the budget committee has ever had like a training sort of like that. We've done that before on the board.
Absolutely, we have. In fact, we had, was it the NHMA?
NHMA has come in. We've actually opened it up to the town and the school, and we had a good turnout. I mean, it doesn't mean that we couldn't do it again. It's probably been a few years.
Right, they actually joined our meeting, and I know there were a few of us that actually sat in on a virtual training last year, given COVID, just to go through the budget process again. I've taken it now a couple times. I know Mr. Sun, you participated. Ms. Forty, you participated a couple times too. So
I did.
As that schedule comes out, I'll gladly circulate it to the committee if there's interest. By all means.
There is a time frame where you can actually contact them, and they will come here or remotely, perhaps during COVID. But we actually had them come here, back down when we were at the school.
I believe I
and
had
present
it.
in-
That's right.
Well.
I remember.
It actually ends up being cheaper that way.
Yeah, I bet.
Do you
No, it's
want-
a good idea.
Would you like me to contact Troy and
Let's
ask
get the
him if-
information and see. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
It is a great class. It really is.
Yeah, and I think it just sets the tone for how we want things to go, as a committee for the rest of the year.
I think it's called the budget process, right?
Municipal budget.
And I'd reach out to that there are they black it out during like the start of budget season, so you have to get in before that.
Yeah, if we reach out now, maybe we can get something in May or June.
Yep.
Thanks so
Great.
much. I appreciate that.
My pleasure. Any other public input this evening? Hearing none, we'll move into adjournment.
So motion to adjourn.
We have a motion by Ms. Douglas. Is there a second?
Second.
Second.
I'll second it.
Wow, there's lots of
Second,
seconds.
third,
I saw
fourth.
Mr. Leary first. We'll move a roll call vote. Mr. Sun,
Yes.
Ms. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Mr. Leary,
Aye.
Mr. Barca,
Yes.
Stevens,
Yes.
Ms. Douglas.
Yes.
And I am also a yes. That passes 800. Our next committee meeting will be Thursday, April 22nd. Thank you all. See you next month.
Fastest meeting ever.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, everybody.
Fastest meeting. Take care.